Hello and welcome back to the Remote Gaming Podcast. This is episode 34 of RGP. I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, my duo partner, my marathon runner, Joseph King. Joseph, how are you?
Greetings, Kevin. It's been a long time. It's good to be back. Trying to get loose and back into the shape of things because we've took Christmas, New Year's. We always we like to do 3 episodes and then take a full month off in between everything.
Yeah, it's been crazy over here. I've got a big news to share. Joseph, you already know this because we're friends, but my wife is pregnant, so baby is coming in June. So there's been just kind of a ton of like nesting things that we've done. If you're a video, watcher instead of just watching on podcast feeds, we're changing around the room. So we've got like a day bed in here. We're turning her office into a nursery. So there's just been like a bunch of house projects and super fun things. But I've been playing some games here and there. Excited to talk about that.
Get through it while you can, because your gaming time is about to go.
I know. I'm trying to enjoy.
But congratulations, Kevin, and I think that's awesome. I've known this for a while. It's been hard keeping it hush hush, but
I don't even know, around Christmas or something like that. So it's been a few weeks that it's been public knowledge. But yeah, man, I'm super excited. We're having a girl. It's gonna be it's gonna be a whirlwind. Like I don't know. But obviously, like I don't have any kids, so first time parents. It's gonna be cool. We're really looking forward to it. We're excited. Yeah, it's definitely going to cut into my gaming time, but I think I'm going to be cozied up with the Switch a lot more in the next year, which is cool. I have some Switch updates too that I'll share with you guys. But yeah,
that first 4 months probably, you will be surprised how much you can game with a baby right here and holding a controller. And just once you get you'll get the feel of where to, like, very nestled, very easy, and it feels weird at first, but it's very secure. And then every now and then you have to put the controller down, take the baby, and go like that. Give it a little, give your wrist a little break, and then you'll go back. But yeah, you'll be surprised how good you can game with a baby in your hand. It makes you better, honestly.
Yeah, I believe it.
You're hyper focused. Feels good to be back, and I think the last thing we did together was the Game Awards, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was our Game of the Year
after that, yeah.
Which was cool. If you haven't listened to it, well, no, go for it.
I was gonna say, yeah, we did the podcast first, then the Game Awards. So the Game Awards were the last thing we've done together.
Yes, yeah, the Game Awards were, which was super fun. It was a blast. Jeff Keighley always puts on a really good show. And yeah, there's just, I think it's going to be a good couple years of gaming, even if the new Star Wars, what is it, Knights of the Old Republic or something, whatever the fuck they announced there, doesn't come out for another 10 years. There's some really cool things to be excited about.
I got my Mega Man wish that did come true. New Mega Man game is on the way, and so I thought it was one of the better awards shows. Mm-hmm. Even though the announcements were not as, but are they ever? Does anything ever live up to anybody's expectations?
Not these days, because the expectations for everything, it's like, a little off topic here, but Stranger Things, my wife's like a huge Stranger Things fan, right? Like we love Stranger Things in this house, but she is by far, she's a huge fan. Like I love season 1. I love season 4. I thought was really, really good. This last season, it was fine. Take it or leave it. But also, how are you going to wrap a show like that up? Like how, the expectations for the show were outrageously huge. I'm like, you know what? It was fine. It was fine. Like, yeah, it wasn't the greatest. And like, you've had to completely suspend all reality from the show since like season 2, because it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And yes, there were a lot of kind of like writing snafus, and they did some really kind of strange things, I thought, with characters towards the end. But ultimately, like, it was entertaining. I was entertained throughout the whole thing. It just kind of drug on, and my personal opinion is they should have, On season 4, they should have started right from where the Earth started shattering around
Mhm.
Hawkins, and they should have just continued it from that point and give me 4 solid episodes. Give me 4 hour to hour and a half long episodes and wrap the damn thing up. But what am I? I'm not the Duffer Brothers, so
Yeah, I am kind of in the minority in that I only really truly enjoyed season 1. I thought 2 was really bad. 3 was so-so. 4 I did like. It's like you. My wife is a huge Stranger Things fan, and so she loves all of them. I think she feels that this season was probably the weakest of them, and I told her, and I'll since we'll get into it, because this show is going to be about TV shows for the most part, gaming TV shows. um I feel like what happened is, this is first of all a problem with a lot of TV shows these days. They don't know how to end things. Game of
yep.
Thrones is a prime example of that. Certain TV shows, they just don't know how to end. And so when you have something like these characters that you've been writing on, I feel like they wrote that first season, and people fell in love with these kids and the characters, and they wanted more, and so they got more. And then they took so long in between seasons that these kids grown up, they're not kids anymore, but it feels almost like they're still writing for kids or children actors. And I don't know about you, other than Millie Bobby Brown and a couple of, I think, Finn Wolfhard. A lot of these kids, this is all they've ever done. I
Yep.
think the actress that's the red-haired girl, I think she's very good.
Sadie Sink.
Sadie Sink, yes, I think she's a good actress. But it just, I don't know. I didn't like Millie Bobby Brown's acting. I didn't like any of the cast acting. Um, the writing just felt boring. It didn't feel. And I think when you have too many characters, you're almost in that Game of Thrones moment where you can't do this in 5 2-hour long episodes. You need to drag it out a little bit more, or it just felt off. And it's a shame, because it does feel like things just kind of go by the wayside. Certain people love it, but I think it was one of the weakest, definitely probably the weakest of all of them. But besides 2 was just, I really don't know if they ever intended to make more than season 1. Do you?
I think that they had a plan for further than that. I mean, I think between the writer's strike and COVID, they got caught between a rock and a hard place, where the kids were growing up at such a rapid pace they couldn't keep up. And on one sense, it feels very 80s, because like if you look back to like all of those like classic 80s coming of age stories, right? Like The Breakfast Club, like all of those types of movies, those were fucking full-fledged adults playing teens. So there's
Sure.
a little bit of that I think adds a little bit of charm. The acting is fine, the writing is fine. I think Sadie Sink is great. I think Maya Hawke is awesome. She's like one of the best actors in the show. All the teens do a great job. Most of the kids do a good job, but it's hard to land a plane, especially when you don't kill anybody off, because you feel like everybody needs to have a thread and everyone needs to have like their moment to shine. And it felt a little,
It was safe.
yes, it was very safe. And I think they were drinking their own Kool-Aid a little bit there towards the end with some of the things that they wrote. But the mall season, I think that's season 3. That season sucked. All the other seasons I thought were pretty good. Season 1, season 4 being the strongest. 5, this final season for me lands somewhere in the nebulous of 2. But listen, it's an entertaining show. People friggin' love it. It was never going to live up to the hype, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think expectations of people were like, there was that whole conformity gate where people thought that there was a secret episode, and it really just ended up being everything that the Duffer Brothers fucked up along the way. And like,
I saw a meme where they were like, oh shit, like the community made a better story that made it make sense. And it, like, if I were them, I would have call them all back, call them all back to set. Let's do this. But it's like, and maybe one day we'll get Stranger Things the movie or something.
Yep.
I don't know, but I hope not. I hope just go away. I've seen a lot of things. Chris Maldonado from Last Stand Media and the Snark Tank, and a lot of people online, I agree with this. It should have been like an anthology series, like season 1. It's just constantly something like, this is the Stranger Things, like Dark Mirror or something like that. Like that's I like we need a new Twilight Zone. And that's what
Yes.
this could have been. And if you would have done that and just kept, I feel like you can always be creative. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's very hard once you hit a character arc. When a character arc for any type of writing peaks, it's very hard to, you're either just going to level off or plummet. And you don't get like a good up and down with once a character arc reaches its peak. And that's what I think a lot of problems have in not knowing how to end something, or you run out of source materials, as in the instance of Game of Thrones. Like Jaime Lannister is one of my favorite characters, and they ruined his character arc, I felt like, in that show. And yeah, I don't know. We'll talk more about TV shows and things that we think, we're professional writers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've acted. I'm
Yeah.
writing a book, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I just Stranger Things, I feel like it's such a big cultural zeitgeist thing. Like, we have to at least mention it on the pod. We're both fans. I know that I knew that you've mentioned to me that your wife's a big fan, and my wife is too. So
Yeah.
I knew that we would have at least, I mean, our asses were in the seats on New Year's Eve watching that as soon as it, you know what I mean? Like that, we were right locked in. So yeah, overall, great break. And I played a lot of games over the break. Do you want me to go first, Joseph, or do you want to go first?
I'll go ahead and go first, because I'm not
Okay.
playing near as much as you, because I'm working through my backlog. The community of ARC Raiders has ruined me for that game. I'm just like, I need to take a break. I
Yep.
put in like, I don't know, like 140 hours or something, 145, 150, I don't know, on Steam. And I was just so sick and tired of every time if I saw somebody and shot them that they whined or bitched. And I wasn't camping. Sometimes, like I played it like an extraction shooter, like I would Tarkov.
Yep.
I'm an opportunist. You have to take advantage of the situation. You're only there once, and if you die, it's all gone. So
Yep.
I'm going to take advantage of certain situations. Sometimes I'll camp an extract, or not an extract, excuse me, but camp a high loot area. And because the tower, right?
Yep.
Make your way there first. Get in. Hold that spot, because if you get that one good spawn that's right by the dam up top, you're good to take out people, and people are going to rush it, and it gets intense because you're watching that back elevator shaft and the stairwell. And sometimes I'll do that, and then I'll go loot up. That's okay to play the game that way. But for some reason, this community gets so butthurt if you fight or PvP. Like, it's almost like they want it to be like the old West, like or like Victorian England. Like, I challenge you to a duel. Like,
Yeah.
So I got
Show
kind of
yourself.
burnt on that. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. So I got kind of burnt on that, and so I was like, let's go through my backlog. So started a fresh playthrough on Baldur's Gate 3.
Wow.
I'm trying to just meticulously do everything I can and see everything and build these relationships with these characters that are in my party. I've gotten all party members, even I think Manathra, I'm about to get, because I did a way to acquire her. Even on a good playthrough, you can still get her in your party. And so I'm trying to get everything that I missed originally. I'm at like 38 hours in, and I just reached the Underdark. I'm still not done with Act 1. So taking my time with that while reading Lord of the Rings, because I've got tickets tomorrow. I got the last ticket to go see the Fellowship of the Ring re-release. So I kind of wanted something palate cleanser from all that high fantasy.
Yep.
So you had mentioned you were enjoying Cyberpunk, and I'm sure you'll talk about that, and so I'll let you lead into that. I've said enough about it, but I'm still working my way through the platinum in that on my other playthrough. And so I've been balancing between Cyberpunk and Baldur's Gate. And then I was like, you know what? Let's check out this remaster, or not remaster, but this 60 FPS update for Red Dead Redemption 1. And I haven't played that game probably since 2014. I played through it once, like no lifed it, put it down. I think I tried another playthrough, didn't get through it again. That game holds up so miraculously well for how old it is. And it's, nowhere near good as Red Dead 2. Red Dead 2, I think, is one of the best games ever created. But what Dan Houser and Leslie Benzies and Sam Houser did in creating just the way that game starts on the train, and you're going, and those men from Blackwater and all that, and it's so spaghetti western. It's so good that it reminds me of a Tarantino film or something, and it's I don't know, like I can't say enough good things about Red Dead Redemption 1, but playing it in 4K at 60 FPS on the PS5 is just, it's so great and it's beautiful. And I thought about, don't want to platinum it. And I'm like, no, stop. You're trying to platinum Cyberpunk, and then after this, you're going to go back to finish The Witcher. Just no, that's just too much. But I'll play through it. I want to give it more love, and because you play games years ago and you don't really. I feel like, I don't know about you, but there are certain games that I feel like I really didn't give this the love that I give now. I appreciate things more. In 2013, I'm like, okay, this is the cowboy game, right? But now playing Red Dead 2 and seeing all those characters and knowing the emotions that you feel, go back, give it the attention. Kind of like what I'm doing with Baldur's Gate 3, just really engrossing myself in that world. And I think it's weird that I've played games my whole life, but I'm really kind of in this place in my life where I really want to go back and play some of these single player games that I just haven't gave attention to. And so I've got a huge backlog. I don't know what I'll play after Baldur's Gate, but I really want to stick with single player games. I want to play through some of these. I think being winter might be a good time to do Ragnarok, finish that. Speaking of some of the news that we're going to talk about. So, but yeah, that's really it. Just Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk, Red Dead 1. What about you?
Yeah, those are great games. I was debating picking up Red Dead on the Switch, actually, just to play through it there, because I heard it's a smooth 60 on that as well, and I'm like, oh man, that would be kind of a cool game to play before bed or whatever. But I've been playing a ton of things. I've been playing a little Arc Raiders in the background. I'm still working my way through Hades 2. I've gotten to the point now where like I haven't played it consistently enough, so I go back and I kind of suck, and I need to like do a run or two to get back into the swing of things. So it's a little bit hard. It's one of those games. Have you ever? I mean, for me, there are games where you build up a skill set, and I play so many other different games that if I come back to it and it's a game that's a little bit challenging, I just like, you need an hour or two to get it back into your hands, and I haven't really got that. I did a couple runs like before bed on the Switch the other day. It's still a fantastic game. It's still really, really great. I would put it up there with some of the best games that I played last year, easy. But I'm playing that in the background. I'm also playing Donkey Kong Bonanza in the background as well. Game's super fun. I think I'm playing it wrong. I'm just like destroying everything. Like I think it wants you to progress a little bit quicker through the game than what I've been doing, because I have a ton of gold and all these things that I don't know if I'm supposed to have yet, but that's how I'm playing it.
Rolling through things and crashing into things like as Donkey Kong and destroying things is how you're meant to play Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I it's not like, I don't think it's life changing. I've heard a lot of people's opinions that they think it's like, it's incredible, and it's good. It's really good. But I'm also not the biggest 3D platforming guy. I haven't been for about 5 or 6 years. So there's that. I did pick up and start playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Is that what it's called? Great Circle, Indiana Jones, the new Indiana Jones game. I'm a few hours in. I am liking it. And I was playing it and I'm like, it's first person, I'm like, what if I went back and played Cyberpunk? Because I want something a little more action oriented. I'm in that zone. Joseph's been talking about it a lot. So I committed to Cyberpunk. I bought the game on Switch. So I have it now on PS5 and I have it on my Switch too. A moment of love for the Switch 2 here. The game looks amazing on Switch 2. It looks amazing in handheld, and it looks amazing on the TV. Now, yes, is it as good as my PS5? No. But the thing runs at like 40 FPS on my handheld. And granted, it's upscaled, so the textures aren't like the sharpest thing in the world. It is incredibly playable. You do see more frame drops in the DLC, Phantom Liberty DLC.
There's a lot of stuff going on in Phantom Liberty.
Yes, there's a lot going on. So I did, for the most part, when I played Phantom Liberty, I switched over to PlayStation 5. Not that it was unplayable on the Switch, but that I just kind of wanted that full experience, and the story in that really warrants a full experience. I finished it. I actually when I texted you earlier about the choice that I made, that was kind of like a tertiary choice. You have another choice after that you can make. I don't know. Do we spoil it? Can I spoil it? Do we say
Don't.
spoilers? Don't
I'd say
spoil it.
don't spoil it.
It's really great, and the story presents you with multiple kind of crossroads towards the end that make it really interesting. I think the new area of Night City is super fun to mess around in and just kind of get lost in that adventure and that story. But if you haven't played, if the only time you've played Cyberpunk is before the 2.0 update, where they basically overhauled the entire game, the police system, how guns feel, how cars feel and drive, the progression is completely different. The game is phenomenal now. Like, I mean, I know it was great when it came out, but it is even better now. The story is awesome. The characters are incredibly engaging. You just want to spend time in Night City. And I know that that's like an open world thing that people say about it. It really rings true in Cyberpunk. It is up there with some of the best open worlds I've ever experienced and played through. I'm at the point where I can probably finish the main quest line, like the main story. I'm going to go through and get as much of the side stuff done as possible until I kind of get bored and move on. But I've put, 50 plus hours into Cyberpunk over the break. Alongside a lot of the other games that I've been playing, can't recommend it enough. It is a game worth your time.
I'm glad you finally came around, and it's one of those things. And I think we had a write in a while back that they tried and just couldn't do it. And I get it. It may not be for everybody, but it is one of the most, if not the most detailed worlds I've ever seen, just from like everything going on in the background. Not so much the people are the most boring part of it, like the NPCs, but the textures, the things that are on the buildings, the things that you see, the background, the world. It does feel living and breathing, and it's CD Projekt Red, man. Like they just didn't get enough time, and they weren't able to really get that polish and that level of quality and care, and they finally did. And that's the reason why I said don't spoil it, is because we are starting to see a pop in its numbers, especially since they did another update. 2.35 is where I think it's at now, and they've seen a lot of increase in players. So I think people need to give it that chance, and it's great.
Yeah, I was. It's funny. I was speaking with a friend at a birthday party, and he's another big gamer, and he was asking me. I always ask him what he's playing. He asked me what he's playing, and it's nice when you find someone in real life who actually plays games, like, and they're really knowledgeable. Shout out Kyle. I know you're not going to listen to this, but shout out Kyle. And he was like, "What are you playing?" And I was like, "You know what?" I was like, "I'm back into Cyberpunk right now." He's like, "Really?" He's like, "I played a little bit when it first came out, and I just kind of put it down." I was like, dude, I'm in the same boat as you. Pick it up and play it. Pick it up and play it. And he texted me like 5 or 6 days later. He's like, you're right. He's like, Cyberpunk is awesome. Like, and now he's playing a ton of it. It's just, yeah, it's great all the way through. I'm playing as like a freaking gunzerker. Like, I just am shooting everything. They're like, we have to be really stealthy, and I'm like throwing grenades and like like rocket arming them. Like, it's the game is just, it's so fun and allows you to play however you want. The game design of it all is really neat. Characters like, all right, well, now that we get into this room in Phantom Liberty, you're like, scaling this cool tower area, right? Not a spoiler, but and they're like, all right, we got to kind of sneak through. And I'm like, screw that. And I'm using my Spark pistol to shoot people through stuff. It's awesome. It's great. It's so fun.
I think that, and I agree with you completely. And I think that from 2015, because I want to include The Witcher 3 in this conversation, to now is like the best era of RPGs, because you have things like this. It's like hard to believe that we live in a time where Cyberpunk, Baldur's Gate 3, Metaphor ReFantazio, Witcher 3, Persona 5, the Final Fantasy remake, Final Fantasy 16, all these games exist in this. It's just, if you are a role-playing game fanatic, there's so many limitless options, and things that have been released in the last 10 years alone is just phenomenal. And there's great games that I still love, like Planescape Torment, one of the greatest CRPGs of all time, up there with Baldur's Gate 3, in my opinion, in terms of narrative and storytelling. But to have the graphical fidelity that we have, and to have a game to have choices make impact and things like that, it makes you wish Starfield and things were a little bit better. But you do realize CD Projekt Red they're the premier Western developer RPG. Them and Larian.
It's
Probably.
the gold standard. Both studios are the games. They make different games, but I think they both, CD Projekt Red has earned back the respect, much like a No Man's Sky of the player base. And again, they showed what people can do on the Switch too. They have given the blueprint to I mean, if Cyberpunk can run on the Switch 2, fucking anything in today's day and age can, for the most part. Like, right. It is incredibly impressive. I'm excited to see what developers can do with the hardware now that kind of CD Projekt Red has set the standard. I don't know that we will get another game that looks as good as Cyberpunk, but I hope that we get more. I know that there's Star Wars Outlaws is out on it now, which apparently is running really well, and there's a lot of really cool stuff. But another shout out to the Switch 2. I think it's one hell of a device. And I'll talk about these two briefly. I started playing The Division 2 a few nights ago on PC. I saw that it was like on sale, picked it up. Skipped automatically to a level 40 character because you can't transfer. There's no friggin' cross save on Division 2. It's just, come on, guys, just let me play my character that I've spent 400 hours on my fucking PlayStation on my PC, but you can't do that. So I'm putzing around with it. It runs like glass on my PC right now. It just is super good. I've got all those settings cranked up, and it's running really, really smooth. So enjoying that. But I have to talk about Warframe. Spent another like 10 hours in Warframe over the break because I heard that they had a new player onboarding, like this time completely new, and it's great. I gotta say, it's really good. You finally feel like they teach you the systems in the game. They teach you how and where to use the map system. And first of all, the game is beautiful. Second of all, the progression in the game it's free to play. So obviously you can kind of pay to get things if you want, but you can earn everything just through time and grinding. It's awesome. It's super fun to jump around in that world. It's optimized now really well. It's only like 34 gigs or something like that for the entirety of Warframe. So you can keep it on and continue to play it, which is something that's so underrated, I think, nowadays with these games. Division 2 is still like 100, gigabytes, which is crazy.
Did they change the ability? Because the thing that sucked about Warframe for me is like both my accounts, my Steam and my PlayStation, it's account locked, right? So like to create a new character, because I'm like, I go in and I don't know where I'm at. I played this like 10 years ago, and so I created an account on Steam, and now if I wanted to did they change that where I can create a new character and start from scratch? Because you couldn't do that. You had to create a whole account to create a new Tenno.
I don't know, but I can't imagine that they don't have that in the game. How long ago was that?
Last summer, I believe. And unless I'm just completely stupid, which is totally in the realm of possibility, I felt like that you could only create a new character if you created a new account. Like you could not just go in and start from fresh with a new Tenno. I might just be completely dumbfounded by that, but is that true? Is that accurate?
The Google Gemini overview is saying you need to create a new account.
So, but yeah, that's still stupid because like now I have to go in with a complete new email address. Like, if you're wanting to make it like any other MMO, like Final Fantasy or Destiny, create a new character from scratch. I get why you wouldn't, but players like me that I want to come back and try everything from the beginning to now. Like, cool, you overvamped the new player experience and you made it easy, but you're not helping returning players at all. That's unfortunate.
My advice would be to start. I mean, having to do a whole new account is annoying, but start a fresh character. I have a lot of hours into Warframe on PlayStation because I was one of the first adopters when it came out for PS4 back in the day. I played the crap out of it back when everyone said that it sucked, and I really enjoyed it. But I've come back for updates here and there. but there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen. I would say probably at this point over 60-70% of the game I haven't seen. So slowly working through that. I don't know. I always end up falling off. It's not because Warframe's not good. It's just because I have other things that I'm playing, like even The Division, right? Like I could have logged on and played some Warframe, but I really wanted to play The Division. So yeah, that's it. I've been playing a good amount of games and trying to trying to do my due diligence on catching up on some of my backlog as well. But I don't know if I was thinking about this the other night. I was trying to decide what to play, and I'm like, I feel like I have a little bit of like gamer ADHD, where I always kind of want to play something a little bit different, and like unless a game really hooks me, and Cyberpunk has, I'm playing 30 hours of the game, and I'm like, I'll move on to this or whatever, unless it's single player and story based. But do you struggle with that? Sometimes I feel guilty. Like I feel guilty, like, oh, I'm playing Hades 2. Like I haven't completed it. Like I haven't done a full run of both, of the areas or whatever it is. Right. But I put like 30 something hours into the game. I saw a lot of it. I unlocked a lot of the weapons. I get it. And what's the other example? Like Arc Raiders, right? Like I put a ton of time into the alpha, the beta. I put a lot of time into this, but like I don't have as many hours as you in that game. And Donkey Kong, I'm just kind of putzing along. Indiana Jones, I feel guilty about because like I just kind of put that down after playing 3, 4, 5 hours of that. So I don't know. Like, do you feel guilty? Like I will get back to these games at some point, but I
feel guilty in the sense that I've spent so much money on unfinished games.
Sure.
That's why I'm working through my backlog right now, and I really don't plan on buying as much as I want to get Resident Evil Requiem 9. It's like, no, finish some games first, and that game's not going to go anywhere. And I really, Leon's in it. There's not much else they could really spoil for me other than
Sure.
In terms of storytelling. And so I really don't, that's the only thing that really comes to mind is something I'm like, oh, I really got to play other than GTA 6, which God knows that thing doesn't even exist as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it's annoying in the sense that there's just too many things to play. And as someone who loves all genres, I get if you just like MOBAs or you just want to play hero shooters or whatever, cool, it's easy for you. But if you like hero shooters and you like first-person shooters and you like RPGs and you like JRPGs and you like, story-driven games and narrative-driven games and action-focused games and Dark Souls games and all, like, it's hard. And unless something really gets its teeth into me, that's why I'm working through my backlog. Yeah, it's a pain.
Yeah, I booted up like Persona 4 Golden over the break too. I was like, I'll fucking finish this. I'll do it. And I looked up and I'm like, how many more months do I have? Because it's month based, right? And I have like 3.5 more months to get through. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, we're wrapping up to the finale. I know it. But I still probably have another 15 to 20 hours in that game, which is a great game. And I'm like excited to dive back in, but I have to be in the right mindset to tackle that. And I almost need to like have a 2-week period time where all I'm going to play is that so that I can finish it and get it out of my backlog and move on to playing Persona 5, which I'm also waiting for a Switch 2 update on because I booted it up on my Switch 2 just to see what it looked like. And on the bigger screen and everything at like friggin' 14 or like 410p, I'm like, oh God, I can't even look at this thing. So I don't know, man.
Baby girl Kevin is going to make that backlog even bigger and longer. So
I know. Yeah. But cool. That's what we've been playing. Lots of stuff. We're going to dive into the news here. The first piece of news is a very sad piece of news. We did a long, not long episode, but a large part of one of our episodes. Our topic of the show was about legendary game creator Vince Zampella and how we were not really debating, but kind of talking about how he has his hands on some of the best FPS games of all time. Well, unfortunately, he has passed away. Vince Zampella, known for co-creating the Call of Duty series, among many other roles, has died. Zampella, 55, died in a car crash in Los Angeles on Sunday. This was December 22nd or 21st, I think, that he passed away. The fatal crash killed him along with the occupant of his car. Super unfortunate. He was driving a Ferrari, I think it was, killed him and the passenger inside. Awful. Obviously, he's one of the industry's most prolific creators. VGC writes, his storied career is long and is responsible for some of the biggest shooter franchises in history. It started with Medal Honor, a game that changed World War II shooters forever. Zampella co-founded the legendary Infinity Ward in 2002, the team that would go on to redefine multiplayer shooters forever. Infinity Ward is the studio responsible for the Call of Duty series, which remains one of the biggest games and publishers for Activision. He then left following a major fallout. He left with collaborator Jason West and went to EA to form Respawn, where he worked on Titanfall and Apex. He also worked on Star Wars. I mean, dude, Battlefield 6 obviously is the latest game that we talked about that he worked on. It's just an incredibly unfortunate situation. Really sad, and you hate to see it.
Yeah, I agree, and we, if you're listening to this, you know this already, because we've been gone for so long, but we felt we had to do our due diligence as gamers, and celebrating somebody who created some of the best first person shooters and multiplayer games of all time, and to not talk about him wouldn't do him justice. And it was unfortunate, fortunately, and two people lost their lives, and that's the tragedy. And right before Christmas, I couldn't imagine how his family felt. But the sad stuff being put to the side, if you're odds are, if you play any type of first person shooter, multiplayer, or competitive shooter, it took something from something he created.
Yep.
So, kudos to Vince Zampella. Tragedy, one of the greatest first person shooter developers of all time. And I can't believe, we tweeted what we tweeted about, ending the guy that created Call of Duty has the potential to end it. And then, a couple months later, he dies. It's just the way the world is sometimes. And it's unfortunate, but his games will always be remembered and revered.
Yeah, agreed. His influence on shooters, changed the game and changed everything forever. So, rest in peace, Vince Zampella. You will be missed in the gaming world. Absolutely, 100%, no doubt about that. Next piece of news: Capcom is having a Resident Evil Showcase. It's actually happening right now as we record this. Let me see. This article comes from IGN. It says what to expect from the Resident Evil Showcase. Resident Evil Requiem will headline the showcase, and Capcom has confirmed that they will be a, quote, brand new gameplay, quote, and news. We already know that Leon Kennedy returns as a playable character in the game, so it'll be a closer look at how differently he plays when compared to his co-star. Capcom has not mentioned anything else beyond the fresh look at Requiem, but considering that 2026 marks the 30th anniversary, we would not be surprised if more Resident Evil projects get a chance in the spotlight. Switch 2 ports of Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village will launch alongside Requiem for the Nintendo platform, and a sneak peek at the live-action film adaptation from Weapons director Zach Kreger will also be welcome. Resident Evil Requiem, February 22nd, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch 2. Joseph, anything you want to add about Resident Evil Requiem? I know this is a game that you are excited for and a franchise that you love.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for Resident Evil Requiem. As I said earlier, I've played every single mainline Resident Evil entry. The reason why I thought this was interesting, because we talked a little bit before the show that they wouldn't have a showcase if they weren't announcing something other than what they're showcasing in Resident Evil 9, because it's the 30th anniversary Resident Evil series. So I would assume they're announcing something, and before we'll see it after we get done recording. I'm predicting either which I don't know why they would do it. They've already done it once, but maybe remaking Resident Evil 1 again for the 30th anniversary in the style of 2, 3, and 4 remakes. For third person over the shoulder camera would be interesting. I don't know how it would work in terms of doing the mansion but it worked for Resident Evil 2, which ostensibly the police station in Resident Evil 2 functioned if you played Resident Evil 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 1. I think you could do it. So I think that would be the most popular choice to do. I could also see them remaking Resident Evil Code Veronica, which was one of the more revered games. I think it originally came to like the Dreamcast, and then it was ported to the GameCube and PS2 later, as Code Veronica X, I think. And then I think maybe something like Resident Evil Zero, you're like, well, they've done remade 2, 3, 4. Would they remake 5? 5 is a great game. It has, the co-op aspect to it, couch co-op, to play as Sheva Alomar as the secondary character with Chris Redfield. I don't know if I see that game standing on its own 2 feet in 2026, where it takes place in Africa, and majority of the village that you enter are all African people. That I don't know how that would be received in 2026. I just, you have so many loud people on both sides of the political spectrum trying to make a big deal out of everything when it's just a video game at its core. And so I don't know if they're worried about backlash, from that, as from the backlash that Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows received, to other things that tend to, take video games and make it all about race in one way or another. It's telling a story, but I could see where it would upset people. I think if you're just a big muscled white dude shooting a bunch of black people in Africa, probably not going to go over well in 2026. So
probably not a good look for 2026. Yeah.
I also think that 5, I wouldn't remake 5 just as a Resident Evil fan, because 5 and 6 is where the series fell off. 4 was so good that 5 just couldn't hold its jockstrap. You know what I mean? And so while the co-op aspect of it was cool, and it's nice that they're always introducing something new to the series, I just don't, it's not that great of a game. And the story kind of goes all over the place with Jill Valentine. And 6 was even worse because they created this continuity with 4 that 4 kind of stood on its own, but 5 and 6 told a continuation of story. And technically 1 through 9 are all canon.
Yeah.
Everything is canon in the universe, but they're just not good games. And then after 6, that's where they kind of redid it with 7. So I don't know. I would leave 5 and 6 alone because nobody really liked them anyway. So something like Code Veronica, Resident Evil 0, or even remaking the first game, I could see them doing with a third person over the shoulders perspective. So that's my bet. Something like that is going to get announced today.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be excited for Resident Evil fans. Not really my cup of tea. I don't love horror games, but Resident Evil, can't go wrong. All right, on to the next piece of news here. Sony cracks down on over 1,000 digital PlayStation games from the same publisher. This comes from GameSpot. Yeah, for real. Bad news for the fans of The Jumping Burger. The PlayStation Store has excised the game along with over 1,000 similar titles published by the same developer in what appears to be an effort to clear the storefront of shovelware. German publisher THI Games, THI Games, had its entire catalog of at least 1,196 games silently delisted. The company, as pointed out by streamer and trophy hunter Rob something whatever on X, published the 4th highest number of titles on the PlayStation Store. They have yet to publicly acknowledge the removals. THI Games has yet to acknowledge the removals. One quick look at any of these games, and it's easy to conclude that they are nothing more than easy ways to farm trophies. They're shovelware. They are easy platinum trophies to boost like your account score. They're weird. I don't know why anybody plays them. Sony has so much of this shit on the PlayStation Store. This is a good start. I'm hoping that this is the beginning of a new initiative at Sony where they can get some of this stuff off and make the PlayStation Store A, easier to search for games, and B, bring the quality of games that are on the PlayStation Store up so that you don't have to look at garbage on your way through. But You know, what do you? We've talked about. I mean, dude, we've talked about shovelware on this and Steam, and you know what's also really bad is the friggin' Nintendo store is
Oh yeah,
awful.
God,
There's
yeah.
so much crap on there, and I get
You
it. They
wouldn't.
take a cut.
Nintendo a toy company, and there is so much sex and porn on the Nintendo eShop. It's absurd.
It's crazy. I can't believe it. You know, there's just a lot of crap. I'm glad they're getting rid of it. I hope more people follow suit. But yeah, what do you have to say?
This has long been needed since the PlayStation 3 days, and since the PlayStation Store became a thing. Started with the Vita, you really started seeing more shovelware games come out. For the average gamer out there that may be listening, that's maybe not as hardcore into it, like what is shovelware? The definition is defined as shovelware games are low quality, quickly made video games designed to cash in on trends or sell cheap bundles, often featuring poor design, reused assets, minimal gameplay, targeting casual players or trophy hunters seeking easy achievements. These games, prominent on platforms, started on platforms like the Wii, PS2, and modern digital stores to capitalize on brand recognition or simple mechanics for the phrase like push X to win. Characteristics of shovelware: low effort, developed quickly and cheaply, trend chasing, creating exploited popular franchises or simple gameplay loops, poor quality, buggy, uninspired, repetitive, asset flips, target audience often purchased by parents for kids or by trophy hunters. Dude, and it's true. It's like
Yeah.
anything on your app store on your iPhone is probably shovelware. Most mobile games are that type of way. The only thing that sets them apart from true shovelware is that they're a cash grab. They have some kind of microtransaction to hit that dopamine so you can purchase more skins or loot boxes or whatever. And then your other end of, I think I combine that type of game into shovelware. I also combine like, your anime slop porn dating sim bullshit that's on Steam. That's also shovelware to me. Like all of it, everything that's just crappy and just, I get if you want to have a dating sim, right? Or something like that, there are plenty out there for you that are probably good quality, but there's a lot of crap that you can just see on Steam that is just garbage. It's highly inappropriate, and there's tons of people that have access to it that shouldn't probably. So yeah, I get the Sony doing this. I hope they do this more often. There's a lot more. What was that? The famous one, like Life of Black Tiger or something. Do you remember that? It was a PS4 game.
Life of Black Tiger is the one that you're thinking about.
I don't know if that's the name of it, but it was something like that, and it was so, God, it looked terrible. It was almost like the frame rate wasn't choppy, but it was just so low quality and just a terrible game. And that was like the meme for PlayStation fans. Like this exists, all this other crap is here too.
Yeah, it is Life of Black Tiger.
That's
you were
crazy that I remember that. That's insane.
I had to look it up. Here, I'll send you the link to the PlayStation store of it. It's absolute garbage and slop.
Is it still on there?
Oh yeah, $9.99. You can literally buy the game for $10, not on sale, just straight up.
Life of Black Tiger. The fact that it has 3.5 stars, that's got to be a meme. You know what I mean?
Let's see. Let's look at some of these. Oh,
it's 105 ratings. Can you is it like Steam? Can you read some of the reviews?
I'm trying to read. Yeah, no, it says every review comes with verified owner of the game. There are any matching reviews. Yeah, I can't read any. I can't read any reviews.
I want to see. I got to see the images of this thing. Yeah, this is so ridiculous. Like it's just,
it's awful.
It looks like a Sega Saturn game, and this was a PlayStation 4 game.
Yep, this is a PS4 game. I mean, it looks like garbage.
It looks like someone got the net code to Turok on the 64 and like put in a mod for like a tiger. Like that is such a terrible game. Oh wow, the James and Mike Mondays from Cinemassacre, the angry video game nerd. They played it. I'm gonna have to watch that video. That's great.
Oh, fun.
That's great. But yeah, shovelware.
Shovelware, slop, garbage, all of it. Not shovelware and garbage, but still kind of sticking on the Sony side of the fence here is Marathon. Now, Marathon has released 2 Vidocs in the last month or so, I would say. They came out pretty similar. One came out today that I watched, and then there was another one that came out a few weeks ago highlighting changes to the game, updates to the game. Solos are going to be a thing. They're going to have proximity chat. They went through some of their new like heroes, some of the new classes that you can play on the way through the game. And I gotta say, I'm getting a little excited about Marathon. I think it looks way better than it did. I think it's offering something unique that Arc Raiders isn't. It's an extraction shooter, but I think it is unique enough now that it will hopefully find a player base of people who want to play it and continue to play it and keep the game alive. The environments were a big part. The outdoor environments, everyone said that they look like crap. They don't anymore. They look much better. They put time into them. If you don't like the art style and the art direction, that's cool. I mean, I think that that is an acquired taste. I happen to think it looks pretty sick. I like the way that it looks. I like the way that the guns look. And I don't know. I think delaying this game may save it in turn. I think Bungie's been working really hard. I think they've taken a lot of the criticism from the fans and from people who've played the alpha and the beta, that I think that they could turn this thing around. Do I think it's going to be, the hit that Arc Raiders is? I don't know that it'll reach that level, but I think it could be a game that is fun to pop in and play and, mess around with your friends for a few weeks. And hopefully they have plans for other classes that they can, update the game with, and maps. It's launching with I think it was 6 maps that they have. And it almost seems like there's a progression to the maps, a little bit similar to Arc Raiders in the sense that you have your starter map, which would be more similar to like your damn battlegrounds. And then you work your way up to, their main PvP. You have to have a certain amount of quality of loot to even get in there type of map, which is going to be really cool once you're all looted up and you got your squad, and it's going to be PvP heavy. That the loot is going to be super high. I don't know. I'm turning around on this game, even though the online sentiment seems to want it to be dead on arrival. I think that the gameplay is going to bring people in. I think people are going to want to play it, but we were chatting about this a little bit earlier today. I don't know if you're as high on it as I am, but yeah, we're definitely going to be playing this, right?
After today's thing, the class, which it's what is runner shells, the name of this Vidoc.
Yeah, whatever the friggin' name of the classes are, and like they have very Bungie names for everything, and they've changed the names too. Also, I think.
Yeah, this will definitely, we're gonna play this. But I am skeptical. I do like the changes they made. I'm not totally crazy about the art style. I do like how they made it a little bit grittier. I know that a lot of the internet was complaining that they should have just left it as is. I think there's probably some parts where they had to change stuff because of a lot of the stolen art that Bungie just can't stop doing. Some of these finishers look really rad. I'm watching Astacross's reaction right now to the video they released today. The guns, the shooting looks very Destiny-y.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my complaints about it while I was watching this today, when I watched it just reacting to it by myself, so many of the guns sound, it's identical. They took a lot of the stuff from Destiny, which is that necessarily a bad thing? No, because Destiny's guns feel great. They sound great. They shoot great. They feel great to fire. But one of the SMGs, I'm like, that's literally the Recluse. And one of the auto rifles sounds just like Suros Regime. And so I'm like, as someone who loves Bungie, that played or not loves Bungie, but played a lot of Halo, played a lot of Destiny 1 and 2 specifically. There's a lot of that here. And I think this is, I don't know, I'm of two minds that it's going to be good. What scares me, they're showing the Vandal class right now. Some of these seem a little bit broken. And I think but some of it seems a little fun. Like it'd be cool if you played the run in, bust them up with the, shield and shotgun or SMG. And I really like the, I think they call it triage. It was like a tactical medic class.
Yep.
Where if I have this little thing hovering above you and I heal myself, it heals you too. You can share my heals. There's lots of really cool, I think, dynamics that if you played well together, you could have good synergy with your teammates. However, I have talked ad nauseum about hero shooters, and the trend is to constantly add more to where the games become unbalanced and not fun. In my opinion, that happens to every single one of them. Like Overwatch, we're seeing in
Marvel
Marvel Rivals,
Rivals.
Deadpool appears to be completely broken. Hilarious and breaks the fourth wall like his character should. They nailed it with the character, but it seems like that is like a very overpowered character. I'm sure they'll nerf it into the ground and then it won't be fun anymore. Valorant with Jet, and it's got like 30 something heroes now. Apex Legends, it's just I would like you to leave it as it is. You don't need to have 30 heroes. More maps. More maps. Go launch with this. Leave it alone.
Weapons, maps. Yeah.
Weapons and maps, things that I can find in game that make it better. Do not add more heroes. Do not add more abilities. It will ruin the competitiveness, and it will make it. I'm not saying you want to sweat every time, but when things get broken, what happens, Kevin? It's called meta, and everyone does it, and that's when a game sucks because everyone's it's that character again, and I'm dealing with this bullshit again. And in an extraction shooter, that's gonna be a pain in the ass. You've got to figure out ways to make it balanced. And I think adding more characters with abilities, you're just, well, I have an idea. Let's give it this. Let's give it this. Well, how's it going to work with the other 12 that we've already got? Like, I just wish they would focus on maps and weapons. They won't. It'll have tons of new heroes, and it'll cost money because it's Bungie. And that's what has me worried. When I saw this, I'm like, being first person alone already makes me like it more than Arc Raiders, because nobody's going to be wall sniffing, sit there sniffing a wall and hugging it, and it would just be more fun. And unfortunately, that's a downfall for Arc Raiders, is the third person perspective makes it where I think that's why so many people enjoy that game as a casual, hey, don't kill me, friend, because I can already see you. So it appeals to those people that feel more safe, I think, when they know they can see everything that's around the corner. But I like this, that it's first person. I like the maps. It does feel like it's going to have tense engagements. I'm curious of how there was a class that could see enemies, track them through walls, basically. But I think that was for the, what is it called? The UECSC or something, like the NPC,
Yeah.
right? I'm hoping it's just for that. If that even on a cooldown, and I hate when classes can wall hack, and it's like, it's just,
Me too.
So I don't know.
And go invis. There's another character that goes invis, and it looks like full invis. Like, it looks like you are not going to be able to see these fucking guys.
Yeah. Unless you hit them, and it's like I don't know about that, and I don't know. I'm cautiously not even optimistic. I'm intrigued. I'm more intrigued about Marathon than I ever was. I'm very down to play it. I'll probably, was it going to be 40 like Arc Raiders, have they said, or is it free to play?
40. Yeah, it's going to be 40.
I'll probably get it just because I know the gunplay is going to be good. They've definitely got something here. I will say that. It will be worth a playthrough, I think. And let them move on from Destiny 2, do this thing, maybe make Destiny 3, and let's see what they can do. We all know they make great shooters. So even though they don't have a lot of the key people that made Halo and even Destiny 1, there's something here.
Yeah, I think you're onto something too with adding heroes. And it's funny. So I jumped into, a game that I play in the background a lot, right? I play the finals and I play some Apex, and I hopped back into Apex and played just a few matches because I was wanting to get into something competitive and wanted to play a BR. And to be honest with you, I was I was like going through, there weren't any new weapons that I found in those couple matches, right? So like the weapon pool has essentially stayed the same for a long time. Like, they haven't really switched it up, which is a blessing and a curse. And then they have, I think, like 1 or 2 new heroes that, like, you can choose to interact with them if you want, but I usually just kind of play the heroes that I know. There was a little part of me, I was like playing on a new map, which was cool. I think it was a new map, new to me. And the same thing happened at the finals. I jumped in and there was a new map, and like the new finals map was fucking awesome. But like the finals is just such a great game. Can't say enough good things about it. But there were a couple new weapons in it that I hadn't tried and hadn't unlocked yet. And I'm like, ooh, I could get into grinding this again. You want new weapons. You don't want really new characters as much. Like, but then you jump into a game and like it like Apex felt a little stale, even though I was playing what I felt like was a new map. I was like, oh, this game hasn't really changed, which is a good thing if you love the game and you don't want it to change too much. You don't want games to change just for the sake of having new updates. You want those updates to progress the game, you want them to be balanced, and you want players to actually engage with the update, right? And there's a fine line, I think, between a good update and an okay update and a bad update. If Bungie can put out, especially in the first year, if they can put out a couple good updates, and you have to think, and I know I'm assuming here, and you know what they say about assuming makes an ass out of you and me, but I'm assuming and hoping that Bungie has at least a year of content in the background that they know, hey, or 6 months, right? So we have the first 2 updates, one a quarter, to the game that we know are going to be hit. We've tested them. They're good to go. That way we can kind of think a little bit more towards the future of the game and where we want this shit to go. But it's also Bungie, man, and they've screwed the pooch so many times recently that I don't know that that's going to be the case. I would hope that that's the case, but I'm interested. I know you're interested. I don't want to talk too much and beat a dead horse here, but like there's massive potential, and I think sentiment is still very heavily mixed, but I think as they keep showing these things, it might be getting a little bit more positive, which is exciting.
I'm a little bit on the opposite with you as far as like I'm worried the 6 maps thing makes me worried that they're just gonna throw a bunch of shit at this and rush through it because we got to get back in our good graces. We have to do this, and I'm sure Sony, like, hey man, we bought you for this much, and people have left Destiny in droves, and there's the scandals and so I don't know. I agree with you. I think they can. I hope they will. I don't know if that to be the case. I think a lot of games today, it's just Jerry Seinfeld showmanship. George, hit that high note and walk off stage. Very few games are going to be like Fortnite and PUBG where they stick around for years on end anymore. I don't see that happening. And Arc Raiders may, but there's just I don't know. Like Arc Raiders is cool and I love it, but the honeymoon phase is over for me, and I'm definitely going back to it. I love that game, but it's not anywhere like to me. I'll always go into PUBG, right? If somebody wanted me to play PUBG or Counter-Strike, I'm totally down to do that. Not many games I think have that ability anymore, and I think it's because there's all people are just looking for the next big thing, and people have unrealistic expectations, and devs are pushed to get something out and monetize the shit out of it usually, or hurry it up, right? There's not enough time, and so that has me worried. So we'll see. Definitely we'll play it, so look forward to that.
Yeah, look forward to our probably extensive thoughts on Marathon. I feel like that's a game that both of us will really sink our teeth into. But Embark is in an interesting place because they have the finals and they have Arc Raiders. I'd be interested to see. I don't know if this is the case. If people have tried out the finals after playing Arc Raiders and seeing what a high quality game it is, and going over and making the population of the finals better. I still think. I mean, Apex and the finals are my 2 favorite shooters on the market. I think the finals is just. I think that game is so pristine, and if you haven't played it, you should. But I mean, it's another game. Like I booted up because I wanted to see how it looked on with my new graphics card and everything, and yeah, it makes a world of difference.
Isn't it crazy to sit here and think that Bungie, that made Halo and Destiny, were like, well, Embark's got the finals and Arc Raiders. You know what I mean? Like, can Bungie live up to Embark? But and you would think it'd be the other way around. I don't know. It's Bungie has just, I don't think I can convey how, as a fan of something, I've been more displeased with in Destiny. Like, they took something that I just loved. I loved it. I love the lore. I have books on my bookshelf of the Grimoire books from Destiny 1 explaining the lore and the background and the, you know, the giant worms, the creation of the universe, the everything. I loved Destiny. Where the fuck is Destiny 1 for the PC? I don't make a Star Wars game if you want to fucking have a lightsaber. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
it's just and I guess renegades from Destiny, from the fateful few that still play it, which are in the hundreds of thousands, they said renegades is good. It's just, I'm just venting my frustration as a singular fan of something that I just watched them beat a dead horse with, monetize the shit out, and not care about the PvP when your bread and butter was PvP before it was anything remotely close to PvE in Halo. Like, yes, there are people that I know. Trevor's listening. He loves the story of Halo, and Halo has a good overarching story between the first 3 games, I think. But their bread and butter as a game developer was PvP. They were so good at it. That's why Halo Infinite took what they created and it felt good. It almost felt like a Destiny and Halo type game. The gunplay, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and that's a completely different. Well, it's not 343. It's, what is it now? Is it
Oh
just Halo
God,
Studios? Is it
Halo Studios. Yeah,
or Master Chief Studios? I don't know. Or it's
I think
Halo
it's Halo.
Studios, I think.
It's Halo Studios. Yeah.
Whatever, they screwed up the naming of that, but they wanted to set themselves apart from Bungie, and I've never been so disappointed in a company like I am. Like, but I feel the way about Bungie that most people do about EA.
Bungie stumbled to the final shape with Destiny 2, and the expansion after I played a lot of. It wasn't great. I'm sure that this is fine, but I had to draw the line somewhere. I can't keep spending 50, 60 hours with these Destiny expansions just to go, well, they really just need Destiny 3. I'm out of fucking vault space. I just I don't know, man. The PvP has been fucked for a while, and when you have a game that's as successful as Destiny, and it's been 10 years or however long it's been with Destiny 2, it feels like an eternity. You just need a little fresh coat of paint. You need a new engine. You need keep the way the game plays and feels, please. Like it feels phenomenal to play. It's awesome. I talk about the finals and Apex, but like Destiny from a feels perspective is maybe like a half step up from where I think the finals is, which I think is great, right? But just go away, make Destiny 3, continue to work on Marathon, and you take so many of your resources and you go put it on Destiny 3. And when Destiny 3 launches and it's going to be Destiny 3 vanilla, make sure you've got a good 20-hour campaign on there. Don't make me run around from mission to mission and have to do bullshit in between just to get there to pad out the time. Put the effort in, make a great campaign. You can do that rest of that stuff later when you want to pad time and give players more options, but bring the casual player back in and make fun Destiny again. Make PvP viable. Let players play the game the way that they want and make weapons. I don't want them to be dull. I want them to still be Destiny weapons, but don't make them break the entire fucking game or put in, what is it, stasis, which ruined PvP. I think stasis really was like when I stopped playing PvP because I was just getting frozen everywhere. It wasn't fun. And from that point on, they just never fixed it because that team went to go work on Marathon. So
I'll say this real quick, just to last touch on Marathon is dangerous because it's dangerous for Bungie because this is going to make or break if anybody gives a fuck about Destiny 3, because you already had people like me that are just so done with you. And then you've had a lot of people just like you, it fallen off. if this bombs or doesn't sell well for them, they're at risk of Sony letting them go after they purchase them. They may just, take the wash and count their losses and move on and be like, all right, good luck, Bungie. And maybe that's what Bungie needs. Maybe they do better. But we thought they would when they weren't with Activision. They got greedier than they did with Activision. So Marathon is going to be quite the tale of get them in your good graces again. If not, this could spell doom for Destiny 3 because so much time. Think about it. By the time Destiny 3 comes out and how fucked Destiny has been for the last couple of years and to how rough it was at launch from Destiny 1, they don't have a lot of great track record in the whole that 10-year promise that they said about Joe was Blackburn, right?
Yep.
The 10-year plan that Bungie had with Destiny 1. It's not a great track record of history, and I'm telling you right now, from the 60 FPS update to Division 1 to rumors of a complete remaster or reimagined version of Division 1, and we already know Massive Entertainment has confirmed Division 3 is in the pipeline, in the works. They may eat Bungie's lunch if Marathon flops because Destiny 3 is going to be so far out. I bet Division 3 comes out maybe next year and we see something this year for it. But yeah, like Division is in such, it's funny that you talked about it, that you were playing that is in such a good spot right now. A lot of players are loving it. Division 1 is seeing 60 FPS updates on PS5. The game is gorgeous. That Snowdrop engine from Destiny or Division 1 is beautiful. And so I don't know, like Marathon could spell doom and gloom. That's why I'm intrigued. Looks good. Don't fuck up.
Completely agree. All right. We're going to move on to basically our topic of the show. There's a couple news pieces of news items here that I'll loop in, and we'll start with Tomb Raider. Joseph wrote this here. We are in a Tomb Raider renaissance. Remasters of the first 3 games came out 2 years ago at the Game Awards. Remake of the 1996 original Tomb Raider, Atlantis, is releasing this year. New Tomb Raider in that same style, Tomb Raider Catalyst. And then today we got our first look at Sophie Turner, who is playing the illustrious main character here, Lara Croft. Thank you. It's been a long day for the upcoming Amazon Prime show. I thought the photos looked pretty good. She looked like Lara to me for the most part. I'm excited to see what they do. I'm hoping they can kind of make it a little Indiana Jones style type show, but I don't know. What do you think? Are you a Sophie Turner fan? I know you're a big Game of Thrones guy.
So first of all, I have to address the elephant in the room. We're in a Ubisoft tomato situation. It's Lara, not Laura. A lot of people do
Lara.
that.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
I catch myself too. I'm just giving you shit.
Lara.
I like the first 3 Tomb Raider games. I that is a game that I would love to get to eventually, those remasters, especially before Tomb Raider Catalyst. I bitched a little bit about the Game Awards that they kind of appealed to the angry gamer that she's not hot, crowd. Because this is still Crystal Dynamics working on this, even though they're owned by Embracer Group now. And a lot of the team from that original Crystal Dynamics, I think they got axed. I think Crystal Dynamics, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they were part of that huge layoff when Embracer took them over. So I think a lot of the people that made, Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider have gone. And I love those games. And so when I first saw Tomb Raider Atlantis and Catalyst get announced, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, the new Tomb Raider, I mean, she was hot enough. What do you gooners need?
Yeah.
So she had like the short shorts on, her ass was bigger, her tits were jiggle physics or whatever. But I went back and I watched the trailer, and I think the gameplay looks good. It does look like a complete reimagining of the original 1996 Tomb Raider. I'll definitely probably play it because Crystal Dynamics make good games, and they're we're not getting any Uncharted's anytime soon, so we might as well
No.
enjoy this. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if you're not feeling the first personism of Indiana Jones, go play some Tomb Raider. Go play those first 3 Crystal Dynamics games. So I'm excited for anything Tomb Raider. I've always been a fan. I never watched any of the Angelina Jolie movies. Couldn't tell you anything
Me
about them.
either.
I
Yeah.
was just like, why are they doing this? As far as Sophie Turner, I saw that when I first heard, I was like, she's way too tall and way too skinny. And not that I'm like, she needs big boobs and butt, but she needs boobs and butt, right?
Yeah.
But I went and I looked at the picture, and she does fit that ruggedness of the style, the hairstyle. She's British, she'll nail the voice, obviously. And she's a good actress. So I think as long as they don't over sexualize it, hypersexualize it like they did with Angelina Jolie's character, and not go super over the top of unbelievable action, but at the same time, what do you think would be better? Should they do that? Should they? Because she literally fights a fucking velociraptor and a T-Rex. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's do we think they go more grounded as the first 3 reimagines of the Crystal Dynamics games, which is what attracted me to it, because it was more grounded and realistic, felt more Indiana Jonesy, right? Or do you like that action oriented, shoot everything, arcadey, I guess, Turok-y Tomb Raider?
I like both. I'd be interested to see both versions of the show, but I don't think we're going to get. I think what we're going to get is going to be the grounded, more realistic Lara Croft adventure. To be honest with you, I don't think that we'll see anything goofy or
Do you think it'll have
arcadey.
serious undertones and basically just be uh you'll probably only see that look on her a couple of times, and this will be just a female Indiana Jones detective show?
I hope so. I put it this way. I hope that they give us an episode of exposition to get us kind of into things, and then episode 2 or episode 3 is her out on an adventure in the classic get up, ready to go with the dual pistols.
Yeah.
And shit hits the fan like that's what I want. I want her to get into trouble and find her way out, and she gets captured, and one of these long spanning storylines with big set pieces. That's what I want from the show, and I'm hoping that we get it. And honestly, people can say what they want about Sophie Turner not looking exactly like what they envision her to look like, but she's a big name actress and they paid big money to get her. So that means that they're investing hopefully in the show. And in another thing I'd like to add here too is that she's not really like a frou-frou actress, right? She's a gritty, grounded actress that cut her teeth in Game of Thrones. That's not light, campy fare, right? That is heavy, real. No, you're not realistic, but heavy storyline, character driven moments of all kinds of craziness, right? So I expect it to be a little bit more along those lines, just given who they cast in the role.
Did you see the Alicia Vikander movie?
I did not.
It's not bad. It's not great, but it was like they took those Crystal Dynamic remakes and made their own thing based on that Tomb Raider, and it was so. But I've always said I think games always would do better in a TV show than a movie, and I think this has potential, because I'm with you. People getting all up in their panties in a wad because of Sophie Turner. I think she can deliver that seriousness. She can be angry. She can be mean. I think people just view her as the stuck-up, snotty-nosed brat from Game of Thrones and haven't seen her in anything else, and are going to be pleasantly surprised. I just hope if the writing's good and they can create something cool for Lara, then I'm down with it.
Yeah, me too. And we have more casting news. They just announced that the new God of War show, they finally cast their Kratos. They cast Ryan Hurst, who actually plays or played what's his name? Thor. Thank you. In Ragnarok, which I think is a fucking awesome choice for Kratos. Not only can you see him just looking like Kratos in the white with the beard and all the things, but he's got a great voice for it. I think he looks the part. I think it's a really solid I like both of these actors in these roles, and I'm usually pretty critical when it comes to casting, but I think they've done a really good job here. I'm excited to see what this is, but I'll let me get your quick thoughts, and then I'll kind of talk about our. I'll introduce the topic question after that.
Yeah, just on uh, Ryan Hurst. Did you watch Sons of Anarchy at all?
No.
So I saw a little bit. It's fans of that. Obi, I'm gonna give you a quiz real quick. Don't look at me real quick. Don't look up his
Okay.
Wikipedia, because
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you if you knew this, because my wife didn't realize it was the same person, because he's had that beard and long hair since he did Sons of Anarchy. Do you know what Ryan Hurst was really famous for back when we were younger?
Like what movie he did?
Mm-hmm. He
did like what? Remember the Titans? I think
Yeah,
like back in the day.
he's Gary Bertier from Remember the
Yeah,
Titans.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Let
it's
me.
just crazy how much his look has changed, and he's a great actor. So, but yeah, he's got to beef up, and I think as far as acting and being and behaving the way the Kratos is in the new games, the reimaginings,
Yeah.
this is a good choice. From a stylistic point of view, I'm curious of how they make this. Are they going to kind of go more, again, grounded, and how are we going to start this? Are we going to start this from God of War 2018, or are we going into Sparta? Like, I bet money. I'm just going to call this now, because I think writing is, even though it could potentially be good, writing has gotten really predictable. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts with the game starts in the Nordic Viking setting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Atreus is there, and the mother, and all these things. And you have flashbacks to Sparta and Greek and him. And then season 1 tells the story of, it's like Atreus and him hunting deer. He's like, "You will feed me deer." And he was like, "Dad, will you tell me the story about you fighting the gods again?" Or something. Like they give it away, because Atreus doesn't know that he's a god, right?
Right.
But I bet it's like they're fishing, and he's like, "I was on a mountain in Olympus." Like, so yeah,
Zeus was my father. I fucking killed him. Yeah,
ripped his
what would
head
be
off.
really interesting? It would be cool if they could bridge the gap between the two. Like if you saw him leaving, like the Greek mythology into we got a little bit of that. We're not going to, because that would be too cool. But
they've got a lot of lore, though. Like those 3 games from the PlayStation to PlayStation 3. There's a lot of lore to get through, and they've got to really, I don't know, like that's the one thing you worry about, right? Is, can you do it right? Can you do it like a Fallout, which I know we're going to talk about here in a minute, but can you hit that? That's a lot. And can you commit? Can this character commit to get it? Because you would think that would be at least 4 seasons minimum.
Yep. Yeah. So. Oh, easy. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it's received and what happens with God of War. But it brings us into the topic, right? So with the success of shows like The Last of Us, Fallout, Twisted Metal, Tomb Raider, and God of War are coming soon, it's obvious that video games are going to continue to come to our streaming services in adaptations. Is this good? Is this what we want or need? And and we'll talk a little bit about what other games we'd like to see as a TV series. But I'm gonna add something else in here too. Is this actually good for the gaming industry as a whole? Well, so we can kind of take this as, do we think that do we like it? Do we think that these shows are good? Do we think that they do like a good service to the game, right? And then we can also talk about, do we think that this is actually doing video games a disservice, or is it enhancing them, right? And then we can kind of talk about what we want to go, what we may or may not want to see. But I'll kick us off here and just say, like, do I do I do I like this? Um, not particularly, honestly. No, I don't, and that's not me trying to be like a purist or anything like that, right? That's not me trying to say, oh, like they should always stay as video games and they shouldn't, they shouldn't want to do new things. I just think with some of these stories, and I haven't seen Fallout. I heard it's great. I watched like the first episode of Twisted Metal. It looked, it looks like it would be really fun all the way through, which is kind of what the reviews have said. Obviously, big Last of Us fan, so I've seen that. I don't, I don't know how much we need these. I think it's cool from like a multimedia perspective, and for if you're a Sony, right, to say, well, our not only do we have amazing video games, but these franchises are so great that they're on the big screen now.
You
It's
trying
like
to be Sean
cool.
Layden?
Yeah, yeah.
We miss
I'm
you,
just
Sean.
a suit. Yeah, we miss you. Yeah, PlayStation really misses you. But I think they're cool, and I think what it solidifies is something that we've all known as gamers, right? That video game stories are freaking great, man. They're awesome, and they're good enough to warrant 4 or 5 seasons of a TV show over 2 games. They're good enough to warrant, I mean, Uncharted, right? The movie came out. So you're in the film industry as well, and these stories and these characters are so good and so rich that they lend themselves to other media, which is really neat. But do I ultimately think that this is like a great thing for the games industry? I don't know. We did see a massive uptick of people playing and buying The Last of Us after The Last of Us season 1 came out. So obviously they're doing it for a reason. The numbers don't lie. People are watching the shows and then want to go experience the games, which I think is awesome. I love that aspect of it. We'll take all of you as listeners, but I I don't know. What are you go? I could go on about this all day.
It's definitely a catch-22. You mentioned purist. The purist, the gamer at heart, it says, no, this is mine. Leave it alone. You don't get this. It's almost like I grew up the skater kid, right? Like, anarchy and conformity and like not wanting to be different. Gaming has kind of was now gaming's so mainstream, and but it was this thing that was ours, right? And in that regard, so the purist in me at first glance would be like, stop doing this, right? Like the story's good enough. The Last of Us, obviously, the acting and the storytelling is better in the game than the show. But I'm going to answer 2 questions. I think, do we want or need this? I do want this, and I think it's more and is this good for gaming? I think it's better for the gaming industry and worse for Hollywood, because if in the Hollywood aspect of it, it's like y'all can't come up with your own shit. You got to go take somebody else's work of art and try to make it into your own, and you can't tell a cohesive story to do something good to that. So you got to take that. So I think it's better for gaming in that regard. I also think that it's good for gaming in the aspect that my kids, like my daughter, got Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 remakes for Christmas because she wanted to play Mario because of the movie. It got her into that, right? So, and
That's
it's
cool.
going to, there's people that are never going to play The Last of Us, but I think that story in some capacity is worth telling. And, whether it's the older generation of people or people that just don't like video games, that they deserve to hear that story. So from the aspect, sorry, my family, my wife's probably having hell with the kids right now. But
No, you're good.
because I know we're wrapping up soon, but yeah, I think it is something that is wanted from that aspect. And I think it is needed in that aspect, that it will help the gaming industry. It will get more people to the games. I think more people will buy, God of War because of the TV show, and this is bringing, maybe this will help the sales of Atlantis because people didn't care about Tomb Raider for so long, and maybe the show will be good enough that it brings that back. So I'm of the mind that I think this is a good thing. If you would have asked me 5 or 10 years ago, I would have said no.
Yeah, I agree with you overall that it is probably a net positive, but that doesn't mean that I like it. Do you know what I
Sure,
mean? Like
sure. Yeah.
it's definitely a net positive. There's no two ways about it. The numbers don't lie. The spike that we saw in The Last of Us remastered sales after the TV show, I'm sure Fallout has seen a boost as well. Boy, those people who have never played video games are in for it when they boot up fucking Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas and just get dropped into that open world. Like that aspect of it is pretty cool, right?
Right.
It really is cool. Like the story about your daughter, like the Mario movies, right? She wants to play Mario now. All of that is really cool. I mean, we had what the movie from, was it the 80s with the two guys that dress like plumbers and look like shit.
Yeah,
for Mario,
right.
you know,
Yeah. Now we actually have a Mario movie, and it's like, well, how do you tell a story of Mario? There is no story in it. Well, they fucking made one, and it's good. So
yeah. Well, okay. Well, so you're high on this stuff. What do you want to see get pulled over?
oh man, that's the first thing that comes to mind that I think is a story worth telling would be, and I think it is, I think they are doing this, would be Gears of War. That's the very first thing that comes to mind. I would also much more rather have a Metal Gear Solid show than a movie. I think Kojima could team up with Guillermo del Toro and do Death Stranding in a really well written way that he would be able to tell the beat by beat story in a more cohesive way with a television show and not so drawn out over a 75-hour game. Like maybe that's better for something like that. Because I think, obviously Norman Reedus would play Sam, and I think those are the first things that come to mind. Anything in gaming, I think that's one of the better stories of all time would be something that deserves to be told. I would love to see I would like to see something not brand recognition, like something that's like a military aspect show that tells the story of Spec Ops: The Line, because not many people played that game, and that game is so deeply involved in mental health and the psychological aspects of war and what it does to the human psyche, and it's set somewhat futuristic. And so I don't know, like I would like that. I would like to have a TV series on something like, leave My Last of Us alone. Leave the big shit alone. Go make something that nobody's caring about and try to bring life back to that. And then maybe you'll get, Spec Ops 2 or you see what I'm saying?
I do. And also, I'll add too, like, doesn't have to be live action. Make something animated. Make something like the Cyberpunk. I know, like the Cyberpunk Netflix show is so good, right? And everyone tells me, like, I will watch that after the game. Right, Castlevania. Do like a Hades style art style, TV show would be really neat, right? Even like, I'm sure people have been talking about this forever, but like a Persona anime or something, right?
Yeah,
like,
I'm surprised that hasn't happened.
Me too. But they're purists. Like, I feel like Atlas is like, you know what I mean? This is our stuff. And like, Metaphor Refantasia would be really cool to see in something like that. But also those stories, man, they're so, I mean, since you played Metaphor, like they are very intertwined, and part of those relationships have to get built up over freaking 10 hours of you going back and spending time with people. And like, there's something to be said about, oh, it's raining outside today, I'm gonna go, like in Persona 4, you go, like, there's special things that you can get on certain days, and if it rains, you always go to the Chinese shop and you order some food and you do the food challenge to boost your stats, and then afterwards, I that night I usually go out and I hang out with the same person. It's like, yes, the game tells you to do those things, but you don't have to do them in that order, but it feels comfortable, and you get into this routine that would be tough to portray in a show. But anyways, that's a whole another topic for a different day.
I think if they would have done The Witcher in the style of the games, telling the story from the first Witcher game to Witcher 3, it would have been more successful. The problem with The Witcher was they didn't follow the source material at all. And and they tried to tell it like the book does, because every other chapter is present day and then every other chapter is a flashback, and it confused the fuck out of people that didn't know what was or had read that book. And so that kind of was doomed to fail. but yeah, something like animation is a great way to do it, because you can do so much with animation and still tell a great story. Dude, if they made I'll be 39 years old in October. If they made an anime Mega Man series, I'm gonna sit there like this, like a little kid, and just nerd out over it. And
Yeah.
yeah, and they could even make it, like, that's what I'm saying, get kids into gaming like you did with the Mario movies, right? They could do that for my kids. I would feel terrible for my kids if they had to play something as hard as Mega Man. Oh, speaking of hard, I remembered what I was going to say. I would like to see them take something that's convoluted and someone tells a cohesive story, like Dark Souls. Dark Souls has a terrible, like, it has great lore, but it's told terribly. And and the reason for it is because Miyazaki made it's up to your own interpretation. You're having your own adventure. And so I had started writing a fanfic, and if anybody wants to take this idea and run with it, I think it'd really be cool. My idea was to do that Dark Souls is like, you take a medieval setting and there is no like dragons or magic or any of this shit, but when you die, you're in purgatory, and that's where this fantastic shit exists. And I think that would be cool for like Dark Souls, like a story arc, to do that. So I think there's so much that if you had the right writer that had I think you need people involved that know the source material, that to make it successful. Somewhere, someone loves the fuck out of Fallout, because I know that the original creator of Fallout 1 and 2 has been flaming the show and Todd Howard and Bethesda on X and social media. If you haven't seen that, he's just like, what the fuck did they do to my baby, kind of thing. But you can fuck off, because Fallout 3 through 4, 1 and 2 I've played. I never really played much of 1, but 2 and Tactics I played. Cool games. But Fallout 3 through 4 are what the show revolves around, aesthetically, especially 4. And it is the best video game adaptation of anything I've seen is Fallout. It's so good. And it, like, you may not care about Fallout. The show is damn good. And yeah, man, Walton Goggins is great in that show. And the actress, it's like, if you're a fan of the games, like, that's why I said somebody knows source material. She's literally passing a speech checkpoint at certain aspects, and she nails the part of, like, people are like, her character's so dumb and stupid. She's supposed to be. She grew up underground in a vault. It's kind of like Blast from the Past, when Brendan Fraser's character returns to service and just doesn't know how to act with society in the 2000s, because he's lived in the 50s his whole life. Like, right. That's what she's done, and she is so oblivious to the world. So howdy, and goes and is so nice to people, and it's like, that's how someone would be if they lived their underground in this cohesive society, and then get thrown into the apocalypse. Like, it's so good, and so that's I think is an important takeaway. Is I just wanted to say that real quick, was you have to have someone involved that's passionate about the source material for it to be a success.
Yeah, I agree with that. But that about wraps it up. Any kind of final thoughts here? I'm glad to be back. It was fun to record. I've been playing a lot of games. I've been itching to talk about them. So it's I'm excited to get back into the swing of things. The break is over, and we're on our way now.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully we can gain some traction. I'm going to try my best to get some edits up, and follow us on YouTube at Remote Gaming Podcast, and write in remotegamingpodcast@gmail.com. I know that's Kevin's usual plug. I just wanted to make sure we'd got it, because I really do want this thing to grow, but it's only going to grow as much as we can. And negative engagement on TikTok. You hate my shorts. Sometimes I edit them in ways that people don't find, they're not getting the joke. Well, that's because I want you to listen to the podcast. So negative engagement is engagement. So if you love us, you hate us, I just want to say thanks.
Yeah, same. Completely agree. And yeah, thank you for plugging that. I was pulling up, as you were saying that, I was pulling up my document where I had all of our socials. No, not bad at all. Great. Like Joseph said, remotegamingpodcast@gmail.com. Write in, be a part of the show. Catch us on X. I'm trying to be better about posting and responding and pulling in traffic organically that way. I'll take that on as in the corporate world, as we say, as an action item. them. And we're on Twitch, but don't really follow us there. We don't do shit on Twitch anymore. We're on YouTube. YouTube, it is Remote Gaming Podcast or Remote Gaming Podcast 4055. I believe that's for shorts or something like that. That's where you can find us there. Again, check us on all of your podcast services. But hey, if you're listening, we love you. We appreciate you. We will catch you in the next one.